EFCC, because now it's like everybody's struggling on authority because a lot of money is being made from investigation. A lot of money is being made from investigation.
How?
Policemen now become debt collectors. They arrest you. They ask if you don't bring money. If you go and make a complaint at the police station today, if you don't bring money for statement form, nobody is going to do anything.
They still do that?
They still do that tomorrow. So the people that don't have money that go to the police, their crimes are not properly investigated. Those that have money, that are the criminals, they use their money to influence investigation. So you do not, most of the policemen we have today, in all honesty, they do not work for the country anymore.
Are lawyers exempted of this? Because if you say, because finally if they bring them and you say they have a huge amount monies that they can use in frustrating the whole process, aren't the lawyers beneficiaries?
No, let's get something right. A defense lawyer is paid to do his job. If you pay him 1 billion, but there is a contract between the two of you. That does not stop the state from employing its best hands to prosecute, because you see, let us get something right. The idea of prosecution is to send a message out. The other day, a minister in England was jailed because of driving offense. When are we going to have that in this country? It is not that, are you telling me that the policemen that pursue, go chase us off the roads, they don't know that they are not supposed to chase us off the roads when minister is coming? What law gives the minister power to chase other road users off the road? How can that kind of policeman arrest the minister and bring him to court if he's found wanting?
And when it finally comes to court, that's the issue. What do people like yourself do?
I'm saying they must do their work well. You see, there's nothing, we are not inventing the wheel in this country. In other countries, things have been done properly.
Because I'll give you an instance. Sometimes we've seen the Department of State Security, the SSS,
yes,
arrest some of these terrorists, suspected terrorists, and they bring them before the courts. What do we find? We get to see adjournment back and forth. You don't put the blame on the DSS or on the police, but because now it is now within the judiciary.
No, you see, let's get something, please. Right, I would like you people to do a study on our judicial, on our legal system in this country.
Break it down for us. Why is it so?
A matter is brought to court. If I do not, it's like, I'm sorry to say, the other man that came here that didn't know the website of his, should channels be blamed for the man not knowing NSDC website? Should channels be blamed?
Some are put on the blame, sir.
No.
Well,
there's no reasonable person that will put the blame on channels.
That is why we have two sides to every coin.
To everything. But any reasonable person, like part of the story I heard on the internet was that they didn't give him questionnaire. By coming here, nobody has given me questionnaire. I've been coming here for years. Nobody has given me any questionnaire before. If you don't know what you're doing, don't put yourself out. But importantly, coming to what we're talking about, if you come not prepared, what do you want the court to do? The judge cannot come and take over your charge. The judge cannot come and prosecute. The judge sits there as an arbiter. All he's supposed to do, look at you. If you're doing right, unless you're going against the law, he will correct you.
So we must at all times get the best hands.
We must get the best hands. We are running, look, for God's sake, every country in the world has the best graduating students working in the civil service. In Nigeria, it's those that can't find work. They go to work in the civil service. Every country in the world, because managing the civil service is the blood of our country, of every organization, every country. The civil service, when you don't bring even Ghana here, if you don't have a 2-1, you can't work in the civil service. In Nigeria, it's those that can't find job. The banks, the oil companies are taking the first class and 2-1s. Our first set of civil servants, look at them, Asiodu, Ebong, all of them, they were the best brains, they came from the best schools. How come today you now have people who have third class, who have passed, and running the civil service? That's why they steal the way they steal. That's why you have an assistant director running in Abuja with Ahmad Kar.
Some people will tell you that, educational capacity has absolutely nothing to do with morals or ethics. it could, yes. I mean, that not all people who graduate with third class have their morals in question. So in some ways, that might not be correct.
Well, I'm not saying this. I'm not saying today where we have people buy certificates. I'm saying if we have a proper educational system, your best brains, your best graduating brains, go work in the civil service. We're not saying that it affects your capacity, but the thinking and getting the civil service to run appropriately needs. I'm not saying all over the world. You know,
the fact that you graduated, the fact that the best brains are working in the civil service, how does that curb corruption?
Well, it does. You see, let's get something right. If you think about corruption and if you can think through the effect of corruption, you won't have because you see, today you went to a primary school that every other person went to. I'm sure you have some of your classmates that have fallen by the wayside because of society. Your children cannot go to the kind of primary school you went to. Fashola went to a public school. Can his children go to that public school today? They cannot. Tinubu went to a public school. Our governor, President Jonathan went to a public school. Can any of their children go to a public school? They cannot. How do you mix the society properly? When you are, that's what I'm talking now. If they realize that the ability they had when they were growing up, their children cannot acquire those abilities because they do not have the opportunities they had of mixing up of all classes. When you were in primary school, you had children of the rich, children of the middle class, children of the poor. But today, children of the rich go to school of the rich. Children of the middle class go to school of the middle class according to what you can afford. I don't know any rich man today that has a child in any of the primary schools in Lagos or in the country. Let's mention one. One governor that has a child in a public school.
It's an erosion of good values.
So the values are gone. And the ability for us to mix, the society to mix, is not there anymore. I don't know if anybody has heard that Obama's children are going to a special school in America. No, they're going to a school, but they have protection. You get? But nothing stops you from paying good for good school, those schools. But the foundation should be your children should be able to mix with other children from different classes and understand them. If you put your children in a, like you said, Jebota level, when it comes to a Jebako thing, they won't be able to survive.
Are we also thinking of having a good reward system for those who are fantastic, for instance, in the civil service, in other places of endeavors? If we had rewarded them properly, perhaps that would have actually encouraged others to do the same and follow the same path.
Oh, yes. We don't have appropriate reward system. And more importantly today, if you go out, if you drive a jeep to a house, they open the gate for you. If you drive a car, they will ask, what are you looking for? These are our morals today. So how do you expect a teacher who enters bus every day, but is the person that trains each person? All of us went to school without teachers who would have been what we are today. The teachers enter bus, they cannot afford anything. What do you expect of them? You expect them to come from heaven or wait and die and their children don't go to school? You understand? So we have to be, you see, if you do not have some strong intellect, you may not be able to think through this kind of thing. You look at your tummy. They say, the idiot in my place, they say, you do not invite a man who shares food to a meeting of elders. Because when they need people to share food, you'll be sharing food outside when elders are thinking, people that are thinking. So our African tradition realizes that people who think of their tummy all the time are not supposed to be leaders.
Now, we've been talking about the corruption in the judiciary for quite a while. I mean, several times we've invited you. Have you seen things changing over time to tell you that we indeed might be, on the right line?
I'll be honest with you. I am quite close to the judiciary. My father was there. You see, there is a lot of effort, but the selection system is the problem. When you bring in bad eggs, it is difficult. Look, like the other day, Mr. Yorin this time said he would love to go to, because his father was Chief Judge of Lagos, he would love to go to the judiciary. How does he go? Can you bring him to will you want to go to the High Court? Is it possible for him to go to the Supreme Court? You see, the law does not say judges from the Court of Appeal must be the ones that go to the Supreme Court. There should be a possibility for you to pick brilliant lawyers who have passed 15